Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. Luke, community, Luke.
Howdy.
Luke, I think we've got we're very close in our sort of like degrees of separation. I think your nieces and nephews may be at school with my daughter.
I think so.
Yeah. I actually have been following Luke on LinkedIn for a little while, since I got back, I think, from the US, and went to a function 2 weeks ago that you were at, and you reached out like, hey man, I'm Luke. I'm like, thank you for reaching out.
It was a young AICC event.
I was very impressive in that event. I think the crew did a phenomenal job there, and I look forward to the next one. I really liked how they plugged into Israel. I liked how we were able to talk live with Israel and kind of, Israel, the startup capital of the world, or the startup nation, I think they positioned it as.
Yeah.
I really like that. So you run a company called Transpire, or run a company?
That's right.
Yep.
So, founded the business about 8 years ago. We were originally called B2 Cloud.
Yep.
Myself and my business partner Josh.
Yep.
We were just two young guys hustling, doing anything we can not to have to get a corporate job.
Yep.
So we were overnight digital experts. We were building out websites, we were running social media campaigns, we were designing ads, we were just doing anything we could to be able to make money working with large corporates and be able to run our own business.
Yep.
We started to get into a lot of apps, so we got approached by someone saying, hey, can you guys build us an iPhone app? And this is like back in 2010.
Wow.
Like iPhone.
Super early,
like pre-Android.
Yeah.
Not that many people were even using
I think they released
smartphones.
iPhone 3G, and then it went 3GS or something to that effect. So
That's
really early.
Super early, like they didn't, it wasn't even an app store until the iPhone 3G.
Yeah.
So we built this app, and like 100,000 people in Australia downloaded this app, which was sort of unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
And Josh and I sort of looked at each other and thought, okay, the future of technology is going to be in mobile.
Yeah.
We looked at the market and saw that broad digital services, social media and others were becoming really crowded. And we didn't want to be in a business that was becoming heavily commoditized and a race to the bottom and cheapest prices. So we really focused B2 Cloud at the time on being an enterprise mobile app developer. And over the years we've grown the team and we've grown and built the business completely organically from the ground up, all based on a good business model and based on cash flow. So we've never taken $1 of external investment or capital or loans, or really just built the business from the two of us.
I love that hustle.
Years.
Yeah, I love that hustle.
Which I think a lot of that gets forgotten, especially in the startup world. There's a lot of glorification of going and raising funds and talking about huge rounds that are being raised, which is great for some businesses. But I think it's really important for for entrepreneurs to not get too caught up in the world of startups and unicorns and capital raises. And I think you need to think bigger and think of yourself, you're a business. Mm-hmm. And startup is just a phase and it's one you want to get out of as quickly as possible. And so the way that we did that was really to focus on getting paying customers. So, everything that we did every day was how could we offer services that get paid, that we could present as being valuable offerings to our customers. And that enabled us to actually use our networks, get introductions, and work with some pretty incredible companies. So
very cool. I like the truth that you speak. So I think if we can just double click, I definitely want the audience, and the reason why you're here is I want them to learn more about your business and your capability. And by the way, I'll drop all the links to your personal bio on LinkedIn, or alternatively straight to your website where they can contact you for more help. But I really like the idea I like what you talk about. In my time in the US, I refer to it as the Hollywood lights, and too many people come to LA and get caught up in the Hollywood lights. And what I mean by that from a realistic perspective is they go and fundraise, or they get a massive bankroll, and then they burn, and they're like, don't worry, the next round we'll raise more, we'll dilute. And I'm not sure, I think that's a play for the US, absolutely, because the market is so massive and you need big money. But here in Australia, I gotta be honest, I think you need a little bit of money, but I don't think you need as much money as people think that they need. And Luke, quite honestly, quite here is a testament to that.
I think we've got, in the Australian market, although again we're smaller, we've got a lot of large companies with deep pockets and a willingness to actually work with startups or new businesses.
Yeah.
I think that's probably been a shift over the last 5, 7, 10 years.
Yeah.
Where we're certainly seeing now as transpire. We work with large telcos, with energy companies, with airlines. So really some of the largest companies in Australia. And typically they would only engage huge consulting groups, huge multinational companies to provide services for them.
Yep.
But over the last few years, they've seen the value that actually working with small, nimble companies can help provide, and are much more willing to be able to work with them. There's still challenges, like the procurement process can still be really challenging.
Sure.
But there are inroads that are happening, and I think companies are maturing in trying to reduce the amount of effort and workload to be able to work with small businesses. There are new laws that have been put in place recently about working with small businesses and having fair contracts. We're seeing governments trying to reduce the burden of putting out tenders and making it more accessible to create a marketplace for small companies to come and win big government contracts and work with. So slowly that's shifting. So there is all opportunity for any, starting a business today is really pretty easy.
Pretty cheap as well, by the way.
Cheap and easy, right?
Yeah.
Like the barriers to entry to actually start something is
and to have
simple.
infrastructure around you. So like you look at G Suite, we're on G Suite, we're now paying hundreds of dollars a month. But I run my personal family domain on G Suite, and it's $5 for the inbox.
Right.
And I have Word, like I have the Google
Docs
Docs
and
and Sheets and
calendar.
calendar. The whole infrastructure there. So long as I'm connected to the net, I have a pretty good start at $5 a month.
Super easy, right?
And I look super professional because my domain isn't at Gmail. It's
Exactly. And then you've got, a whole great community, especially in Melbourne. So you've got Creative Cubes, you've got lots of other great co-working spaces, you've got infrastructure and a lot of focus around trying to help startups to get started.
Yep.
But then I think it's the next phase, and I think the focus really needs to be on cash flow and needs to be on finding paying customers as quickly as possible to help you sustain and grow your business.
Yep.
And it's great to get started, but then to grow and scale, I think a lot of companies still find really challenging. I mean, business is tough. Business is always going to be tough. It's a grind. You have to work hard, but you also have to. There's a lot of distractions, and I think the problem that can face all the energy, like you call it, like the Hollywood lights, is you can get attracted to the world and attracted to all the trappings that come around with running a business and the startup culture that's built over the last few years, and forget that actually you're trying to build a business, and in order to do that, you actually need to be sustainable and ideally profitable. So to understand your business model really well, to understand that there is a market and test really quickly if there is a market, and find paying customers who you can add value to. So I think that needs to be a really big focus. So we've managed to do that and grow. I've got about 40 staff now.
Great.
And we recently went through a rebrand about 6 months ago from B2 Cloud to Transpire. Need to be more reflective of the type of global business that we want to grow into, being a large professional digital services company that works with mostly large corporates and again well-funded startups. So the brand needed to evolve and grow as the business evolved and grew.
I like it, man. And honestly, this is the first time we've sat down, and I love the rawness, the fact that the camera's recording all of this. I like your real approach to it. Something that really resonates with me is the no BS and the straight to, hey, get to revenue fast, get to paying customers fast, and qualify if you have a business. And sort of that there's this false economy with, I know in the US very specifically, because that's where most of my, entrepreneurial days have been. There's this false economy around, I just got $1 million in funding. I'm now going to go prove it. Oh shit, I haven't proved enough. The $1 million is running out. I'll just raise some more. And it's just, you're constantly chasing. And you sit there like, I'm a startup, or some of them that have become really big names and died. Like Washio was a great example. They raised $10 million. Ashton Kutcher invested in them. They were on-demand dry cleaning. I was a consumer of it. I loved it. They went out of business. $10 million raised, and they couldn't qualify the business model. And so that guy lived, and that company lived in a false economy, thinking, oh, well, we'll just raise 20 next time and continue on. And sort of like the attitude was, oh, Washio's coming to this event, and there was this sort of swagger about the founders and the group there, but the reality is they weren't able to prove the business model. And I'm not trying to call them out or push shame there. I think that Jordan specifically he'll fail forward and he'll get to the next thing. But I really like your real approach, and I like the no fluff. Let's just get straight to the action. In terms of Transpire, I've heard a lot today, or we've heard a lot today about large corporates and big companies and funded startups. What's your sort of magnetic customer? Who do you work with on the regular? Who do you broaden yourselves out to sort of try and assist? Or is it just these large companies and funded startups that you engage?
Yeah, so today, the makeup of our team, we have a really great cohort of amazing experts in their field. So we've got an incredible user experience team, development team, strategy team, and we've got a whole support network around them of testers and project managers and things like that. So the types of customers that we're able to work with, given that we've got a really highly talented team, there's also a very low supply of great people in this country especially. We've got a very low amount of skilled technical people who can deliver this. Sure. So we've got quite a rare service. So typically
and an award-winning service, right? You guys have won awards.
Yeah, so we've been pretty fortunate from our growth over the years to be recognised in the Deloitte Tech Fast 50 and BRW Fast 100 Growing Companies, and each year we get some accolades, which is nice, and it's nice to get that little pat on the back, and it's a great recognition for the team. But again, that doesn't pay the bills.
So I agree with you. But this guy's a very talented individual. You don't just accidentally fall on the award. You the way you're speaking today, you come across very knowledgeable. You present yourself exceptionally well. Those awards are a representative of who you are. So, huge ups to you for that. I'm inspired just sitting here listening to the way you talk. I don't want to talk anymore. You can just keep talking.
Thanks, Toby. That's kind of you to say.
No, I'm being genuine in my approch.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and again, it's super great to get some of that recognition, and I think that's it. Sometimes it's really hard to have, you need to have micro enjoyment out of actually running a business.
Sure.
There's as you know, and a lot of your community it's a ton of hard work. There is a lot of difficult conversations. There's a lot of rejection. There's a huge amount of barriers to actually being able to be successful. And I think we become really used to building a thick skin, and you need to certainly have a lot of resilience to be able to move through that and move past it. But then I think it's also easy to forget to actually celebrate the little wins as well. So it's nice to just take stock sometimes and celebrate a little award with the team. But again, the really important thing is you don't build a business as an individual, you build it as a great team.
Totally.
And one of the things we've been really focused on at Transpire is building a culture and a team of people who bring two components. So technical expertise will only get you halfway in the door with us, but you have to be a great cultural fit as well.
Yep.
So we only want people who are great at working in teams, who are prepared to adopt our mindset that we bring to our customers, which is challenging them and being able to come up with better solutions. One of the things we never wanted to build was just a yes man agency that responds to briefs and delivers to a piece of paper. So the types of customers that engage us, back to your sort of question before, are groups who have a lot of ambition. Typically, they want to perhaps change something, do something new, create a new innovative product, and perhaps they've even become too big to be able to do that themselves internally.
Sure.
So they'll come and engage Transpire to help frame out and validate what is, whether it's viable to go and build some new digital products to help connect with their customers better. And so we've got a great user experience team that will help work with our customers to the early stage, and we'll do some user interviews, we'll do some prototypes, we'll do using sort of the human-centered design practice that IDEO, Famous used to work for, really great ways of validating really quickly whether a product idea or business idea is worth pursuing.
Yeah.
And then we've got, a development team that can go and scale and grow that product,
Good.
opening up new lines of either revenue for businesses or helping to deliver their products in new innovative ways that gives them a competitive advantage in their industry.
Yep. Very cool, man. So I'll tell you what we're going to do from here. I'm going to drop Luke's details, Transpire's details into the description below. I'll link Luke's LinkedIn. You'll have to send me all those details.
Sure.
Or I got your LinkedIn. And, if you are in need, I got to tell you guys, I have a lot of people. I think this is nearly my 80th vlog in the last 6 months.
80, that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lot of content. I've got a lot of people that I'm trying to give a leg up to, but hey, I'm super impressed. I like your approach. I like the head on your shoulders, man. I like the way you think about things, and the way you've executed as well. If I had a hat on, I'd take it off to you.
Thanks,
but no, I mean, 100% genuine when I say that. I'm so glad you came on. I'd love to check back with you in a few months' time after your next award or your next big client and learn more. I think there's a ton of things we could learn from Luke. Maybe it's a regular vlog, learn from Luke.
Like it.
Maybe.
Anytime, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks
this is the awkward, thank you. And he hasn't been well, so I hope you get better soon.
That's right. Now Toby's going to be on.
On, what's today? Tuesday. We have a bit of a light week this week, but I do have Nathan Chan coming in from Founder in the next 2 weeks, I think after Easter. So stay tuned for that. This is the awkward part of the segment, Population 2. Luke sits here, I go turn off the camera. Thanks for coming, guys.